Hello and welcome to Wulfrum. So today we have in one corner the Arkhalis, a veteran of the show, and in the other corner we have the weird red claw thingy, the Fetid Bog whatever the hell. How do you pronounce this? Baghnakhs is my best guess. So as we've already tested the Arkhalis, there's not too much to say about it that hasn't already been said. The Fetid Baghnakhs is the new contender. In our last video, we tested the Knight's Edge versus the Arkhalis, and it was a close battle. The Knight's Edge had better range and more use in more scenarios, but the Arkhalis was better against single targets. Well, the Fetid Baghnakhs is basically the Arkhalis, but better in every way. This fight was set up from the very beginning. I'm just curious how much better it is my question. The first thing that you're going to wonder about is the hitboxes, because the Arkhalis is strong, it has really good effects, 20 armor pen is really strong, it's very good, always, but its range is really bad. Believe it or not, the Arkhalis actually has a bigger hitbox than the Fetid Baghnakhs, but the way it's used makes one worse than the other. So for every DPS test, I always line up my cape inside the first pixel of this guy's arm, and that's how I do every test. Always going to stand here, every time, so it's consistent. So the Arkhalis has a hitbox width of 112 pixels, and the Fetid Baghnakhs has a hitbox width of 80 pixels. 112 was not able to reach the second dummy, and yet even though the Fetid Baghnakhs has 32 less pixels of hitbox size, in terms of width at least, it can hit both dummies, it can hit two dummies. Why is this? So now I'll take you to paint.net. Here is the hitbox of the Fetid Baghnakhs. This pixel here is actually the character's hand. It's partially inside the character hand for some reason. And here you have the Arkhalis. The range highlighted here is the effective range away from the player's hand. If you look, it's actually 68 pixels away from the player's hand. Well, the Fetid Baghnakhs is, even though it's inside partially the player's hand, it has more range. 76 to be exact. The Arkhalis is mere pixels away from being able to hit the second dummy, while the Fetid Baghnakhs is just in range to do so. This increased range makes the Fetid Baghnakhs more useful in hand-to-hand combat with targets that are in front of you. Its superior knockback also means if an enemy drops on your head, it's probably going to get knocked away. A strength the Arkhalis has that the Fetid Baghnakhs does not have, however, is that the Arkhalis can be aimed in any direction you want, while the Fetid Baghnakhs is basically limited to what you can see here, an obtuse angle of coverage. This specifically means it has more range in front of the player as well as above them, but the Arkhalis can be used to hit in any direction you want. Those notes aside, I'll take you to the lab. So as I said, yep, you can aim the Arkhalis, you cannot aim the Fetid Baghnakhs. Let's just call them FB for now. Facebook. They can both be auto swing. The damage is so not even close. FB is twice as powerful as the Arkhalis, and the gap widens when you reforge it. The Arkhalis gets 8 attack damage stronger, while the Fetid Baghnakhs, FB over here, gets 20 stronger. 20 armor pen on the Arkhalis, slight advantage there. Damage spread, we have 68 to 92. Of course, that's how Terraria's damage works. The average is, of course, the damage stat, but there's always a range with your damage. We already know the Arkhalis stats because this has been tested already, so these are all of the damage against all the targets. That was a sentence. But yeah, since the Arkhalis can only hit the first target, its tests are all the exact same. The Fetid Baghnakhs, even against a single target, is like 2.5 times higher damage, and the gap is even crazier with the second target, doing 2,000 damage per second at the highest. And then every test past that, of course, since it can only hit the first two, is the exact same. Average DPS, this is the average amongst every scenario. Yeah, that's actually like 4 times higher. This is the number that you should look at to determine which weapon to use. And this is 4 times higher, so I don't know. Hard mode items kind of go hard, I guess, is what the name is fitting. Eye of Cthulhu kill comparison, less than 3 seconds compared to 16 seconds. And as I discussed, hitbox width and height. Knockback, this is an interesting situation, similar to the Knight's Edge versus the Arkhalis. There's no real way to argue which one is better. The Arkhalis doesn't want a lot of knockback because it wants to keep enemies in the same spot while it, like, Mantis eats their head, you know? Well, the Fetid Baghnakhs higher knockback means it's doing something similar because it attacks faster than the Arkhalis. So it's, even though the enemy is getting launched faster, they're going to get hit before they get very far, and they're going to get caught another hit. So they're actually going to, it's going to be a similar effect with both weapons, where the enemy is kind of just like pelted and slowly moved away. So you can't really say one is better than the other, although this is a higher number than this one. So sure, you get it. So use time, this is without any reforges. So we have 8.5 on the Arkhalis because of It's 25 in the game's code, but it's 8.5 in reality. There's no way to speed up the Arkhalis' animation. It's the exact same, no matter what you do. Even if you hack the game to increase its use time, it's still going to be the same. The Fetid Baghnakhs, on the other hand, starts at 8 and can go lower, which is what use time reduction refers to. Arkhalis cannot go lower, while the Fetid Baghnakhs can go a little bit lower. Good old FB over here was nerfed a little while ago, so now it only gets 25% effectiveness from melee speed bonuses, which is kind of sad. It was really funny seeing one attack per frame, but we can still get pretty dang close. With Legendary, I have like a use time of 4 or 5 or something. And then for velocity, the Baghnakhs does not shoot a projectile at all, while with the Arkhalis, the blade itself is the projectile. Not really a comparison here, it's like comparing apples to oranges. Rarity, the Arkhalis is in a higher tier of rarity. Fetid Baghnakhs sells for more, both research at 1. Legendary is a better reforged than all of these, because Arkhalis can't get bigger and it can't get faster, no matter what. Well, the Fetid Baghnakhs can get bigger, increasing its hitbox size. Internal ID around the same ballpark, so equal. So yeah, you have DPS in like the 300s, 400s, and you got some armor pen for some early hard mode enemies like Possessed Armor and Armored Skeleton. And sure, it's a little bit easier to aim, you can hit things in more places, but even with its limitations, the Fetid Baghnakhs is insane. Outclasses it by multiple times, like 2 to 5 times. So I guess I answered my question. I hope you had as much fun watching this as I had making it. Suggest any other items you want me to compare in the comments. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time.